Well, good afternoon or good morning to you, based on where you are. This is Keep.it100podcast, JR, your host. Starting on a nice Friday for a beautiful show we're going to have. I have a gentleman coming all the way from the Netherlands. He has actually been performing in Shanghai, China. Due to pandemic, things changed a little bit. He took a little vacation. Now he's trying to get back there. I got JR Tarail. He is a international pianist. He should be starting with me in just a moment. Let me look for him, just see if he's in there. All right. Hopefully your week was pretty good so far, guys. We're going to give him just a few moments here. He should be joining us in just a few moments. We'll get him in. And just letting you also know, tonight, a little later on, we have a watch party that will be starting out. Stay posted for Keep It 100 podcast. And you will find out, I'll give you all the details on the watch party for tonight. And we also have one for Fun Day Sunday, which should be pretty cool. So stay tuned for all that good stuff. Give me 1 second. We'll get this gentleman in. Okay. I'm going to go out and I'm going to come right back in. Okay. There he is. All right, there he is. We see him. We see him. All right, let me get him invited in. Give him a couple of minutes. We're 5, 4, 3.
Hello.
Good evening.
How you doing? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
I can hear you fine. How you doing?
Okay, then I have to do it this way. How you doing?
Oh, what a beautiful view.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Beautiful The Hague.
You are where? In the Netherlands?
And the Netherlands, yes.
Oh my God. It looks awesome. Looks awesome.
It's cool. Very windy right now, but it's okay.
Okay. Well, you're new to the show, so basically, let me tell you what we're going to do. Very simple, man. I'm going to ask you some questions that I normally ask.
Okay.
About your career and things of that nature. Before I do that, can you? We normally will let our guests tell a little bit about themselves as far as where they were born, where they come from, and how you got. I'll get into the entertainment part of it in a little bit later. Okay, but tell us who you are, where you came from, family, and stuff of that nature.
Okay. Well, my name is Jose Herrera. I was born in Venezuela, a small town called Huacara, very small town. At the age of 19, I moved out of the country. I moved to Aruba. It was the first place I moved to.
Wow.
A beautiful island in the Caribbean that belongs to the Netherlands. It's Dutch territory.
Okay.
That's how my connection with Holland started back in 1990. 30 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, always with music. I studied music in the since I was 5 or 6. Studied with organ first. You know, like the 2 keyboards organ with the bass on the feet.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say the company because I'm not getting any sponsors from them, but you know. And then I moved to classical piano. Then when I was like, I don't know, 14 or something, I heard of Chick Corea and Herbie Hancock and all those big names. And that was it for classical music and classical organ. I switched to jazz. Yeah, that was a life-changing experience. And because of being from Venezuela, then the Latin music was always around. You know, in a bus to go from one place to another place. The driver is listening to salsa music very loud. So whatever you like it or not, you're listening to it. So it gets into you, you know.
Oh yes.
It comes out when you play. It comes out. You can't help it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started playing. First, we had a rock band. So it was more like I have long hair till here. I was like a real rocker. And then start switching to all kind of different music, and that is mainly what I do now. My music now can style. It's all the influences of 30 years of playing all kind of different styles of music.
Okay.
So yeah, from Aruba, let me see. From Aruba, I came to Holland back in '91. I stayed here for a couple of years. Back to Aruba. Then the whole journey started. I moved to Colombia for a couple of years. Went to work on cruise ships with Princess Cruises for 3 years, all around the world, from Alaska
Oh,
to
right. You mentioned that. Okay.
Mexico, everywhere. And I,
Okay.
like in 2004, I decided to move to Spain. I wanted to stay in Barcelona. That was the city that I said, okay, this is it. I not only want to live here, I want to die here. That's the city that is, you smell art everywhere.
But Venezuelan people are very passionate, I noticed.
Pardon me?
This
Sorry,
is
say it again.
Venezuela. I says where you're from. I noticed that a lot of my friends that are from the same place you're from, they are very, very passionate. So when you talk, you say like you'll mention something about not only do you want to grow up here, I want to die there, or it's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
just
yeah,
very
yeah,
passionate.
yeah. That was the feeling. That's the feeling I still have for Barcelona. It's a beautiful city. But as a musician, there it's very hard to make a living. You know, a decent living,
Okay.
because it's big competition. It's a lot of good musicians there, and it's not enough places to, you know, to have a, a salary out of music. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I got an offer in that time to go and check Shanghai. So I bought a ticket for 6 months to Shanghai.
Okay.
That was it. 6 months. I go back to Barcelona after those 6 months. But as soon as I got to Shanghai, the work started coming everywhere. In that time, Shanghai has almost no jazz, almost no Latin music, and it have 20 million people as a population.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like, well, let's do this, you know. So the last 15 years, that's what I was doing. I was playing in Shanghai with Tarail that you interviewed a couple of
Right.
weeks
Right.
ago,
Right.
and with many other great musicians there. So it was salsa bands with 11 people in one band, from that to a duo in a piano bar. You know, you could
Wow.
really 7 days a week
Let, let me
play.
let, let me take you back a little bit.
Okay.
Um, you were mentioning that growing up, you know, how you got started and things of that nature. Other than Chick Creer and a few other people, who else inspired you from the music aspect of it? I mean, like, did you see something on TV? Did you see somebody live? I mean, who else were people that inspired you?
Yeah. Well, in Venezuela in that time, we were very Americanized
Okay.
when it comes to music. You know, we got from Madonna, Michael Jackson, Prince to the salsa we get from the Caribbean, from like Ruben Blades from Panama, Ruben Blades, and so we got a big mix there. So you can say that, yeah, besides listening to Chicory, and Herbie Hancock, so
Okay.
I listen a lot to uh, Argentinian musicians that were in a boom in the 80s, because I don't know if you remember, in the 80s there was a war between England and Argentina for the
Yes.
island in the south.
Yes.
So in that time, uh, in Argentina, they forbid a lot of music in English in that time.
Okay.
So there was a boom of bands recording in Argentina because the radios didn't have enough material to put on the air.
Oh, okay.
So in the 80s, the part of South America that have more recordings and more bands influencing the rest of South America was Argentina. So we had a lot of music coming from the south and from the north.
Okay.
You know, so all that mixture in Venezuela, there was like a big melting pot of music in
Okay.
that
Got
time.
you. Okay.
So I guess that I listen a lot to maybe names that you don't know, like Gustavo Cerati, Soda Stereo, Fito Páez. Those are guys from the south,
Okay.
and then it was Chicory and these guys from the north.
Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. I like to
Yeah.
dive a little. I like to dive a little deeper just to find out because there's always something that we miss in how you got started. And the other thing too, you know, when we're having this conversation, because we're going to upload this to different platforms that we have. We always have a lot of guests that are also maybe thinking about getting into the business. You're the words that you're giving out right now, and it's going to be advice for other people that are wanting to get into that industry. Let me ask you this next question. Um, let's talk about current projects. So you were in Shanghai working with Krista Ray.
Right.
Um, what was that meeting like when you first met her? She's a awesome person.
Oh yes, yes. We first met in a rehearsal.
Okay.
We met rehearsing for studying a job, and she's a person with a very strong personality. Whatever
Right.
she walks in, you're gonna notice her, right?
Well, she's Ukrainian. Ukrainian.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She's stunning. But besides that, the musical, as soon as she starts singing, you have to listen.
Yes.
And in the first rehearsal, I didn't know anything about her. We just got together and started rehearsing for starting a job in 2 weeks.
Oh wow. Okay.
But the connection was there. It's this kind of things that you have with some people that you just play one song and you have that feeling. Okay, this is gonna work.
Wow.
In some cases, you have the feeling like this is not gonna work. It
Well,
can go either way.
There's a chemistry.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Or a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Yeah, we've been working together as a regular job, playing in a bar. But at the same time, she's going on with her projects and going on with my projects.
Okay.
And it's reaching to a point that we're going to start collaborating with each other from a distance. That's the funny part.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What happened that you asked me? Yeah, I was in Shanghai, and I left on January 22nd on vacation, initially for 5 weeks. So my vacation finished. It's time to go back to Shanghai. I went to Tampa to visit my sister. Then I went to Panama to spend some time with the family, my mother and my son, my girlfriend, everybody. Then it was time to go back to Shanghai, back to work. And then the whole COVID-19 situation just exploded. So I couldn't go anywhere. I stayed in Tampa in my sister's house for 5 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was something. And in that time, well, there's not much to do, right? You just stay home. So I keep on recording, doing stuff, and then I start live streaming on Facebook twice a week. Just do it.
This is
for the fun of it.
This is in
No,
Shanghai?
that was in Tampa.
Oh, in Tampa. Okay. All right, in Tampa. Okay.
Yeah. The 5 months that I was in Tampa, I didn't know what to do with my time. So I just started live streaming.
Okay.
Just to keep it active. To keep the music going and the feeling and the fans and the connections.
I'm grabbing my water.
So after 5 months, there was time to move from the United States, because you cannot stay longer than 6 months as a foreigner. And China is still closed to foreigners, so I cannot go back to China. So I came to Holland then, because I have both nationalities, I'm Dutch and I'm Venezuelan. So I can stay in Holland like it's my home.
Oh, okay.
Even that I haven't been here in so many years, but here I don't have to be. Okay, the situation in the United States legally was that every 30 days I have to ask for an extension to stay there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But here I can just stay here and figure out what's going to happen with the planet after COVID-19.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question also. Being in Holland right now, mm-hmm. What's your feeling? I mean, like, how have you been practicing, doing the same thing like you were doing in Tampa? How have you been keeping your music career up?
Well, it had changed in the matter of the routine. I had a routine in Tampa, right? Okay. Every Tuesdays and Fridays I was doing this live streaming. My routine here had changed in different ways. I'm doing a live stream on Wednesdays now with a friend of mine. We both play the guitar, the keyboard that I hang.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, that's every Wednesday we're doing that. And there are few things happening in Holland. Holland has always been very musical in the matter in the jazz scene.
Okay.
It's a lot of jazz going on. It's slowed down now because of the situation,
Right.
but some bars and some places are starting to open up again, and there are few nice, interesting jam sessions going on. So I'm kind of new in the scene, so I like to go to the places, sit in with whatever band is playing, and then start making new musical friends.
Oh yeah.
So
That's smart.
somehow, it's always a balance. Things happens for a reason.
Right.
When I was in Tampa, I approached by mail a person that I admire very much. His name is Victor Rutten. He's a amazing bass player, amazing musician from the U.S. I think he's from Nashville, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I asked him, what can I do in this situation? What should I do? Do you have some connections here in Florida that I can go and maybe go to recording studios or something? I need to do something, right? And he told me, well, you're a very good musician, just go to jam sessions, play, and people will notice you, and things will start happening. Don't just stay home, do nothing.
Right.
And I say, well, those are very wise words. And I start doing that, and it's working. You have to take your measures, right? Go with a mask and hand sanitizer. but it works.
Life is different right now, I tell you.
Oh yeah, completely different. It's crazy.
Oh God, yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you next question. So with because one of the questions that we were asking also was with pandemic happening and how's your career been affected and things like that. And you kind of covered that. What do you other than I know you play a few different instruments. You play you're a pianist. You're also name all the different instruments that you play, or what type of instruments that you have been that you grew up with and have played.
Yeah. Well, my main instrument is the keyboards, the piano, the organ. That's what I went to school for and what I learned, right? But on my own, I've been experimenting with few different instruments, and in my send you the link of my last production that is called Querer.
Yes.
In that song, I play few instruments and I sing in the song and everything. I play the steel pan, the steel pan from Trinidad.
Yes.
It's a new instrument for me, so I've been experimenting for the last 2 years with it.
Okay.
Very complicated instrument. It's from the islands. It's from the islands. That's where the influence comes, from the Caribbean. I also play in that video. I played accordion, which is with keys. It's just it's a different technique, right? The movement.
Right.
And I play keyboards and I sing. That's pretty much what I've been experimenting with.
Okay.
All the other instruments I put in my hand and making sound, but I don't consider myself.
So what can we expect from you coming up? I mean, have you ever thought about putting music out as far as album wise, or you?
Oh yeah. Okay, from past to present. Back in '96, we recorded a nice album in Aruba.
Okay.
With a band called Gem. It was all original music. 2 covers, but the rest was original music with great musicians in Aruba.
Okay.
The singer, Miruja, she received her diploma of graduation in Berklee College of Music from the hands of Sting.
Oh, wow.
Which it was, a great singer. Then everybody in that band was amazing, mostly Dutch musicians in that time. After that, I did a recording with a band from Spain in Africa. We went to Senegal in 2006, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
The band is called Radio Malanga. The CD was all original music. The whole band went to Senegal, to Africa, to Dakar, and we lived in the recording studio for 3 weeks. So we were eating, breathing, sweating music. It's one of my favorite albums because what it came out of that album is so real, especially because the environment was not best. We were in in the middle of Africa. Nothing was what we expected. The water wasn't there when we needed it. Electricity wasn't there when we needed it. So we focused so much on the recording. It was our only way out of all the chaotic situation.
Wow.
That the product that came out of it. I'm gonna send you the link.
Okay. Yes, please do. Please do.
And after that, I did an album in 2009 of my own music. It's called the J&B Experience. It's music that I wrote for violin and a band. It was kind of like let's put a rock band or a pop band with the electric violin as the main instrument. Wow. It's an album that I wrote with 16 songs. It's a lot of material that I wrote for a violin.
16, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and we did pretty good. We went to Hong Kong, we went to Macau on tour with that project. That was 2009. And then I've been doing a lot of stuff for other people because that's what it always happens. You end up putting your projects aside for, you know. And now, since last year, I started working in this new material from my own music. I'm being selfish for once. Just doing my own stuff. Yeah. And then I have 2 songs for this project, which is the first song is called 2020, A Year of Hopes. I didn't know what I was putting myself into it when I wrote that song, because it's really a year of hopes. And the other song is Querer, that what I recorded the steel pan and the accordion and all the things. I'm still working on more product for that project, but it's slowed down because of the situation. I don't have my recording studio with me. My recording studio is all in a storage room back in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So, but it's going. And I keep on working on it. You know, you have to keep on doing it. That's the only way of getting it done. Yeah.
Okay. So, are you planning on trying to get back into Shanghai or what's?
Yeah, I want to go back, but okay. To be honest, I like the process of how things are going here in Holland.
Okay.
You know, it's not the Holland that I knew from 1991. A lot of things have changed, and I see possibilities music-wise. There's a lot of bands here touring in Europe, getting their projects on, original music. So it's starting to look interesting. But yeah, of course, I would like to go back to China. I was there 15 years. That's what I call home for the last 15 years.
Did you say 15 years?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
It's a lot of stories from Shanghai to tell.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this question to you, because it's one of the questions I asked Krista Ray. When you moved to Shanghai, what was your experience like when you first got there? Because coming from where you came from, growing up in Venezuela, living in Colombia, living in a few other places. What was your first feeling when you got off the plane and got there? What was that aha moment like? This is different. What was it like?
Yeah, definitely. The first impression when you get out of the plane is not that big because it's a big airport and a big city. My first real impression was when I realized that we Westerns had never eaten Chinese food. We don't know what Chinese food is. What we think is Chinese food is not Chinese food. That's Western food made by Chinese. But the Chinese food is completely different. And as Krista said at the beginning, it's shocking, but you learn to like it, and I miss it very much now. I haven't been in China since January. and I really miss the Chinese food from there, like being there, eating it there. But yeah, that's one thing. The other thing that I always say that the okay, let me put it this way. Um, in China, common sense is the less common of the senses. But but they do have a common sense that they understand. You know, it's their common sense. It's us that who we don't understand.
Okay.
And through time, we learn that there is a different common sense. I
Yes.
don't know if you're following me. You know,
Yes. No, I follow you. Believe me.
and it's as simple as this. You adapt yourself to that, or you leave, because you can't change a culture
No.
thousands of years just because you don't understand. You know what I mean?
Yes. I must tell you, I've lived in a couple different countries. You mentioned Bahamas. I lived in Bahamas before.
Okay.
Also throughout Mexico and a few other places. So yes, I do understand because you. I know. I'll give you an example. I know when I moved to the Caribbean and Mexico, and things are slower. You know, things slow down, and basically I had to adapt because I was used to being I grew up in Chicago, California, Vegas, areas like that where things are moving. And one of the biggest things for me was it allowed me to slow down and pay attention to, family, familia,
Yeah.
and slow down and start take. One of the big things also when you get to places like that, you slow down and you remember why you're alive again. You know,
True.
like when living in the Caribbean, man, I got a chance to be in the water a lot and be on big boats, and I forgot how beautiful it is just to get into the water and look at
Yeah.
the fish, and to look up at the sky and the clouds and things of that nature. Those things are very, very, very important to me.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with that. I have that feeling. Like Shanghai is a city where everything is done now. You know, the fact it's a city of more than 20 million people in one city.
Wow, 20
So
million.
everything have to be a super speed
Okay.
because really their time is money. Really, it's not just a saying. It's a fact. That's how people live there. So when I'm
Wow.
there in the day by day doing things, I get into that speed, and
Okay.
that's normal for me. I go up, and then when I take a break and I go to Aruba to visit my son and I go on vacation, the first week everything looks so slow to me, and I get anxious, because I want things done now. But after a week, I go back to the island life, like in Aruba we have two speed, slow and stop. We don't hurry. So you go back to that, and then you get into that speed, and then going back to Shanghai is, it's again the same. Then you feel like, why everybody's in a hurry? Slow down, breathe. Yeah, I know
Exactly.
exactly what you mean. Yeah, but
Yeah.
for example, here in Holland, it's it's not as slow as the islands, right? But
Okay.
not as fast as China. So
Okay.
the speed of life here is okay. You know, things get done. You have to wait a couple of days, but things get done. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question because I've never lived there, and but you mentioned that you spent some time in Colombia. What part of Colombia were you in?
I lived in Medellin for 2 years.
Oh no, you did really. I've heard a
Yeah,
a
beautiful
lot of things
city,
about that area.
beautiful city. The
Yeah.
weather is amazing. They call it the city of the eternal spring. It's between
Beautiful, huh?
25 to 18 degrees the whole year,
Oh
Celsius.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's beautiful. I was working there.
Okay.
Initially, I just went there. I got a few gigs, and then I ended up working with the corporation of the Medellin Jazz Festival.
Wow. Okay.
So I was working as a piano player, and in all the events that the corporation was doing, and also as a translator, Spanish, English, Spanish, Spanish, English to the musicians that
Wow.
came from the U.S. and from Europe to Medellin every time they have to give a clinic or a speech,
Okay.
a press conference or something. I have to be there as a translator with them. So it was a great experience to be in Colombia for those 2 years.
Man, that had to be amazing. Definitely
Yeah,
had to be
yeah,
amazing.
it was. It was.
Are there any places in the world that you would like to work that you haven't?
Greece. Lately, I've been
Okay.
thinking about Greece, Singapore. I would like to
Okay.
check it out.
Okay.
Um, and New York, definitely. But after all this, is New York would be. I think New York is every musician's dream at some point. Yeah.
I was going to mention that. You know,
Yeah.
I was going to mention why haven't you like looked at maybe get to like New York? Because New
Well,
York's
it
one of
wasn't
those.
my plan on this year.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was
All
planning
right.
this summer to go to New York,
Okay.
but I guess not.
Let me ask you this question: as a international pianist, what have you learned, especially being yeah, from a huge music background that you are? What do you think you've learned this year out of everything? You know,
Um, well, this year I've been practicing more than ever because I
okay,
have the time and I didn't have the pressure.
right,
So um, I would recommend to every musician out there that is feeling depressed or have nothing to do, practice. It helps. You feel better. Seriously, after a couple hours a day, 1 hour a day, it make and get into the routine of just putting my fingers on the piano every day for no reason. It doesn't need to be a gig. It doesn't need to be composing. It doesn't need to be recording. Just play something.
okay,
And well, I guess the biggest lesson we always, all of us are dealing with is patience.
yes,
We gotta be patient. There's no other way of doing this. I guess that, but do things constantly. I think that's another lesson that I had learned. You know, when I started with the live streams from Tampa,
okay,
in the beginning I have few people watching. You know, but I just keep on doing it. Just keep on doing it. More for myself than for
right,
anything else. And a few weeks ago here in Holland, I was doing a live stream with my friend. The first live stream I did here, and we got 5,000 views out of
nice,
nowhere. And then I was like, well, that you really need to do things and keep on doing it, you
yes,
know.
yes,
And it was absolutely not about the money because we're not making any money out of this.
right,
But
right,
it gives you a satisfaction to see that for doing something constantly, you get people interested in it, and then you get 5,000 views for
yes,
it's a 1 hour video. You know, it's not like oh, 3 minutes and or some guys jumping out of a reef and doing something stupid. No, it's two guys making music
no,
and
it's true.
5,000 people master it. So that's
It's
an achievement. You know.
you know I'll tell you, and what you're saying right now is so important because there's a lot of people that don't realize that it's consistency. You have
Yeah,
to build them up. You know, like we
definitely.
started this company the same way. I know what you're saying. I know exactly.
Yeah.
5,000 views. Are you
It
doing
takes a
anything?
lot of pushing. It takes a lot of self energy,
Okay.
but it have to be done. You have to do it.
Are you doing anything currently like that where you're actually have you are you continuing to do that show now or have you moved away from that?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna keep on doing Wednesdays
Okay.
for the time being, and it's from here, from this with this beautiful view.
You got the best
This is
view.
the roof. This is the roof of my friend's house. We are on
Okay.
top of the living room now.
No, now looking back in the backdrop, what are we looking at?
Yeah.
Point that out to me. What's that in the backdrop?
Well, that's the city of The Hague,
Okay.
and you see the big tower. That's where downtown is. I don't know if you can catch to see it.
Yes.
Maybe now you can see better.
Oh yes, what a view!
Yeah, it's a beautiful day today. Yesterday was raining like crazy.
Wow.
And then in the other side, over there is the train station. It's called Den Haag HS, one of the main stations of The Hague. And not far from here also is the international court, where they have all the European cases of legal matters in Europe are in this city.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And not far from here is where the king and the queen live. They're my neighbors. No, I don't know. I don't know exactly where they live. I know it's nearby.
You picked a great place to be right now, of all
Yes,
places.
yes. It's um, a good place to be because it's not very crowded. You know,
Yeah.
so this to keeping social distancing is easy.
Right.
So
No, that is an amazing view.
yeah,
If I were you, I'd want to stay there.
yeah. Uh, that's what I'm doing most of the time.
So, other than musician, what other hobbies do you have? What else are you into?
Well, you know, that's a very funny question because I have the tendency of ruining my hobbies. They start as a hobby and I end up being a professional on it.
That's
I take
amazing.
it so seriously. Yeah.
So music,
Um, well,
music.
okay. Let me go through this
Okay.
quickly. I'm a second dan black belt in martial arts, Okinawa, Japanese martial arts.
Wow.
I got my black belt when I was 16. I still practice, but it's more a personal thing. I don't teach in any school. I don't practice in any school. I practice once in a while. I go to Okinawa in Japan and I take lessons from an 85-year-old master that I found through connections.
Wow.
The guy is a living legend in Japan. And he doesn't have any students because nobody likes him. He's a grumpy old man. and
Kind of like the
uh,
Karate Kid.
and when I was in like my late 30s, uh, when you get into the 40s, you get the 40s crisis or something.
Right.
And a friend told me, a friend doctor told me, you need a new hobby because music and martial arts they all mix up, and you reach to a certain point that you're professional in it. You don't enjoy it as much as if you do something new. And then I took
True.
scuba diving seriously, and I got deep into scuba diving. And 3 years ago, no, a year ago, I became a dive instructor. So now I'm a professional diver too. So I need to
Wow.
find a new hobby.
let me let me ask this question also. If someone's trying to find if someone's trying to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you, and where can they find your music at?
Well, in YouTube, you can find most of my stuff, and SoundCloud. Uh, I have some of my music on iTunes also, and Spotify, and all, you know, Deezer. I think is the other one. I've been doing my music lately with a company called CD Baby, and they take care of all that distribution of the different
Okay.
platforms.
Okay. Great.
So you can listen to my music for free. You can buy my music if you want. Uh, the main thing I want from my music is to be listened to, spread around, and to be played by all the musicians. I've been
Right.
sending my music that I did in 2009 for violin and band. I sent it to a lot of violin players that I found on Facebook, people that I don't even know, especially in Japan. They have shows a lot of interest in my music in Japan. I don't know why. And I
Wow.
just send my music and I send them the PDF book of the music I wrote. So some violin players are starting to play my music in Japan. There is a violin player in Montenegro, a Russian girl. She's also playing my music. So that that really means a lot to me.
Why do you think that is? What do you think the connection is?
Why they are playing my music?
Huh?
I guess they like it.
I I mean, like, what makes? Why are they attracted to it? Is there something that would stand out, or
I think it's challenging because
okay,
I wrote very difficult pieces
okay,
because in that time I had a very good violin player. So everything I wrote for her, she just played like nothing,
well,
and I felt like I have to write harder. So I wrote very challenging pieces for violin in that time.
okay.
Actually, I haven't found anybody that can play it as easy as she did. Yeah, but I'm glad the people are playing it and liking it.
Okay,
That really means a lot to me.
that's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. No, I want to thank you for the information that you're giving. Let me ask
Oh
this
man,
next question.
thank you.
Let me ask this next question because this might help
Yeah.
somebody out. Um, you're you're out somewhere, could be anywhere, out eating or whatever. A young kid comes up to you, probably about 9 or 10, maybe 12. Um, been playing the piano for 5 or 6 years. Really good at it. Has that genius status. What would be your words of advice to someone young starting out, as far as a pianist?
Well, first I asked the kid what is he interested in, what does he listen to, what he would like to sound like,
Okay.
because it's very important to first it's very important to know what it is that you want to learn.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
You know, um, and if it's something, some style of kind of music that I know about, I will recommend the kid to listen to certain musicians that maybe he never heard of, but I know it would be in the direction that that's what he or she would like to learn. Um, if they ask me for lessons, which it happens few times in China,
Okay.
I have few students that they already play, so they know what they want. So I try to make it as fun as interesting for them. Like one thing I recommend a lot is play along with the recording. If you like a song,
Okay.
play it. Doesn't matter if you don't have the paper. Doesn't matter if you cannot read it. Just play the music over and over and try to play on top of it.
Okay.
That develop your ear and your feeling for the music. You figure out what it is that it got your attention from that song, particular piece or something. So, in few words, play along with the music. Play the music, play your CD or your MP3 or your streaming or whatever. Play around it.
Okay.
That helped me when I was a kid. I did it all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Now, my last question I have for you: who would you like to, if you could actually play next to or create? No, let me retract that. If you were making an album, who would you like to make an album with next? If you had the choice, if you could pick the people, who would you like to make some music with?
Oh, the musicians I would like to record with.
Yes.
Whoa, the list is so long.
Yeah.
There's musicians from all over the world that I had worked with, that I haven't worked with, but I know of.
Here's what we'll do. Give me a jazz album. Uh, five people that you'd like to create something with.
Ooh, that's a tough question, but doesn't matter how big or how famous and rich they are. Just give you names.
Yeah, just names. Yeah.
Well, from top of my head, Steen is one of them. He
Okay.
can be out of the list. And then is Victor Buten, as I told you, the bass player from
Okay.
Nashville. There is Bruce Hornsby. There's also a piano player, but I don't care. I will play whatever with him. Second keyboard, I don't mind. That's three. Let me think about a drummer. that I would like to be in my band. When you give me the budget to have that band, let me
There
think.
you go.
Well, there will be Vinny Colaiuta, which it's Sting's drummer.
Yeah, okay.
I guess that would do. And maybe I call Krista Ray to do background vocal for me because I've been doing
she's
background
got some
vocals for
vocals,
her all the
man.
time.
She's got
Spec
some
back
vocals.
time. Yeah.
Well, Jose, I want to thank you for coming in. This was evening where you are, and it's morning where I'm at. We're going to definitely have a part 2, but I wanted to.
Oh man, I would love that.
Yeah, I wanted to touch in because
if we have a part 2, I will have my keyboard with me, and I can play some music for
this
you.
is why
Maybe
I
I can
want
bring a
part 2.
friend to join me too. Let's do that. That would be cool.
Let's do that. Well, this is why I want a part 2. I want to have the part 1 was basically to get to know you a little bit, because there's a lot of people that follow us. We have a lot of record label owners. We have a lot of musicians, producers, and everything else. So you never know. Sometimes what has been happening is a lot of them get together afterwards and they kind of call each other and they kind of do some things together. So maybe that might happen
Sounds
with you
great.
also.
Really, I've been waiting for it for a while.
I know. You were very anxious. And I was so glad. I love that because I'm the same way, man. I get excited about something. I'm ready to do it. But yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
What I'll do is we'll upload this interview up for you, and I'm sure some people will be getting in contact with you, and then I'll get back with you. But I'll actually send it to you in just a little bit, so you can actually watch it. More importantly, you will be connecting with a lot of people. Watch some of the other videos because you'll see a lot of producers and a lot of record label owners.
Cool,
we have
man.
some people coming in. Actually, there's going to be some records, some albums being released coming up this month. Also, at the end of the month.
Nice.
There's a lot of stuff coming up. But I want to thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation.
We'll have a part 2 where you actually jam with us.
Cool. We do that. We do that.
Okay. You enjoy your evening, and we'll see you for part 2.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.